Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Perspectico podcast, and today's topic is careers in software development space. And to discuss those careers, to gain awareness about those careers, I have with me Kushal sir, Sumit sir, Surur and Salil sir. All of these speakers have experience, have their own companies in this space, and today we are going to discuss about a lot of stuff. We are going to discuss about what exactly software development space is about. We are going to break it down for you people. We are going to talk about what the skills that are required to enter into these sectors. What is the maximum amount of knowledge you should have before you enter this sector? Is it required for you to have an engineering degree or not? And we'll also talk about something, what is the right stage of for you to make a choice whether it is right time for you to enter into this space. So starting with, let's break down software development sector. Any one of you can take it. Let's break down. What are the different things in that?
If you look at the software development market today, it is very broad. So you can divide it into several categories. Like, it's not particularly just coding, as people see it from the outside world. That software development just means like you need to spend all the time on the laptop, code and stuff, learn new languages and stuff. It's not like particularly about that. So majorly you can break that into like programming, testing, analysts, and people who gather the requirements. In bigger firms, there are people specifically on the job just to talk to the clients about the software they need and getting the requirements and communicating those requirements to the team lead or whoever is the person concerned.
From a layman point of view, software development is just for me web designing. From someone who is not from that brand, sorry, but from someone who's not web designing करना है तो मेरे को एक development का बंदा चाहिए. But from a student perspective, what exactly is there? Because a lot of people who are not from science background are going to watch this podcast.
See, there are a lot of things in software development. If you go through a proper process, okay, so you will see first it starts with the requirement. Okay, so first of all, whenever we get any requirement, okay, the first thing is to understand that requirement. Okay, so it starts with the requirement analysis phase.
Requirement analysis.
Yes. Okay. Once it's done, okay, then we will give the estimations. Okay, and then the development work start. It starts with the designing mode. Okay. So for here people can go for the designers, UI UX designers. Okay.
Once that is also part of software development.
Yes, that is also a part of software development. All right. So once the design is complete, okay, then the development part comes in. Okay, and once the development complete, then the testing parts comes in. So it's not just coding is the only thing which is required. Okay, so it has different things where initially the analysts, project coordinators, those will be involved, then the designers will come in place, then developers come, then testers come.
And all of these skill sets, Salil sir, like you belong to product development part of it. So it is according to them the third aspect. पहले requirement, फिर coding, फिर requirement, फिर designing, then development.
So that's a very good question, and on a very broader side, so software industry is like, if we are already talking about this, like two legs, one is product and one is service. So product, especially like from the product perspective, it starts from a problem.
Achha.
First problem comes, and then of course there are requirement analysis and like, okay, but this is most of the entrepreneurs, they start from a problem.
Yeah.
So if they find the problem, now they start working on the solution, and for solution the first come is requirement. Okay, what I need to build, how I can fix this system. Okay, these are my requirements, I have to do all these things. And then from the requirement, it's like we start going down. And nowadays, of course, the web and all the stuff is there, and UI UX is matters a lot. So we start from, okay, usually what happens that we have worked with some clients who had customers who had everything, but the user journey was not great. So we recommended, okay, let's do this, just go through all the user journey and recreate it with the new screens, new designs.
बढ़िया user experience के लिए.
Right. Yeah. So there are companies like Frog and the big companies like McKinsey. The bigger brands, they pay them a huge amount and they come up with the ideas. Okay, your wireframe should be this. These are the colors. These are the themes and everything, because it's a very good saying that the presentation should be very good.
It matters.
Right. And if wrapper is very good, so that is true actually. If user are convenient, why Facebook is Facebook, because Facebook user experience is great.
Exactly.
Once people are there, they don't want to go anywhere. Where Orkut failed, because Orkut and Facebook, if we compare, Facebook has much better user experience. They have app developer. They brought that thing, and that was another reason why they got reached there.
And that's a beautiful point, Kushal sir. And I would like you to take this, that how has the relevance of software development changed over a period of time? Like sir pointed out, now it is much more relevant for startups to be user friendly. It is much more relevant for them to be that. Explain to that.
I think first we should demystify what is software. What is software development?
Exactly.
What is it actually? Right. So I think anything which is not hardware is software, right? And today, in today's world, even electronics have moved to a place that everything you find, like any gadget, is just like a blank cassette. You write a software, they work accordingly. Right. So right now, software is there everywhere. Right? It's in your washing machine, it's in your phone, it's in your routers, it's everywhere, right? It's running everywhere. And we call those things as firmwares, right? And then there's a software which runs probably on the servers, right? There's a software, your operating system is a software, and then your website is a software. So software has a huge variety, right? So all these things are softwares. So we need to first figure out, I mean, what interests us the most, right? So all these things are different, very different. They are built differently, but they all are software. Right?
They're all software. Internet of Things is a software.
Yeah, that's a software. And probably your washing machine software doesn't need a UI. It doesn't, but it just has buttons. It should be able to just respond to buttons, send calls, and all. So this is a, I think the crust behind software is like, probably, right? I mean, this is the biggest confusion right now within people, right? Like you said, it's website development.
हमारे के लिए सिर्फ website
right.
है.
So this is
Commerce वालों के लिए.
Yeah, exactly. That's what people think, right? When even my parents think that I build websites. Okay, so they don't understand what the software is, right?
That actually happens.
Yeah.
So even if you're a software engineer and someone of relatives comes in and says, "Yeah, मेरा system नहीं चल रहा है, वो देख ले, मेरे नाम में कुछ problem है." But you are a software developer.
Yeah,
You are a software developer.
So
You're
even
not
if there is any hardware failure, then you might able to do it.
That's it. So,
But and that brings me to a very interesting point, that who can be a software developer? Anyone or someone who is just an engineer? कोई course करना जरूरी है, or you just need to learn a language?
if, according to me, if I would say that anyone who has a particular interest in learning how these things work, actually the interest I developed into softwares and computers and this was that I wanted to know how these things work actually. It was not that particularly that I wanted to build these things, but I wanted to learn how these things actually work, how these machines, these chips, how these chips work, how the display comes in, how the UI is built, all these things. So the interest should be there. And I don't think there is any requirement of an engineering degree or any kind of degree.
But all of you are engineers.
That's the curse of the Indian education system. That you need to require a degree from a reputed college, then only you get placement. That's the pressure from the parents and even the companies in India, like the bigger brands like the TCS, the Infosys, they require a degree. Otherwise, you won't even qualify to sit in the interview. But that story has changed over the period of time. Now the startups culture has come in India, so the startups are not looking for degrees now. So even if you have the skills, you can prove to them that I have the skills, I can build the stuff, I can work for you. Then they're ready to hire you.
What is the right age of learning a language, sir?
See, nowadays this starts from the schooling.
Yeah.
Okay,
In our school also, I was surprised.
So now from 6th, 7th class they start teaching students different languages
Basic
like
C++.
C++. These start. So from schooling these days, like students start learning languages.
And what is the right way for us to, I mean, should as a student, should I first learn a language, work in some company, and then figure out whether I should become a full-time software developer, or is there any other way I can take?
I think, like software development is just like another skill. It's like playing guitar, right? So it doesn't require a degree. It doesn't require any special education, right? It's more like your interest, right? So that's why they have it in school right now, so that you can discover it. Oh, I like this very much. I'm good at this. This is what I want to do, and then you can like keep on doing it. It's more like practice, right? You keep on doing it, keep on building more stuff. You just keep on trying out better POCs, and eventually by the time you graduate the college or you do anything, you are already a very good programmer or you're a very good software engineer.
And what are the upcoming things that are coming up? Because this space is, I think, one of the fastest growing trends which is coming. There's so many things which is coming. Anything can, like this watch that I'm wearing, it's also running on software. So Thank you. So I think
Show off.
Sure. So anything that is like, so what is like, is that this is a lot of scope in this sector? What you'll say?
There is actually, because I think today everything is connected, and like we talk about IoT right now. So what is IoT? IoT is just like, Internet of Things, that's just it, right? So the idea is like right now only computers are connected. So we call it internet. Now they say everything should be connected. It's not just your computer, even everything. Your small devices to watch should be there in the system.
In the system.
Right. So that's what they're talking about, and their software comes in, right? Plus there's a lot of there's a lot of buzz about web apps and stuff, right? Building new things, building new solutions for people. So I think there's a very big scope, right?
Yes, it's a very bright
And all of
industry
you
right now.
are entrepreneurs also. You have the companies of your own. What is one skill that is deficient right now in the coders or in the developers that you hire? One thing that the students should work on at a very young to be successful in this later
So
on.
usually, like from my experience, what I have observed in this industry, especially in India and the service industry, so ownership. So there's the lack of ownership and responsibility which we take, because I think that is the one thing which is missing, and that is something which the people who have that skills, they become a leader. In this
Ownership
industry.
as in?
Ownership as in, if even I'm in job, I'm employee, but the project has been assigned to me. If I'm taking that whole ownership, okay, this is my responsibility, I have to deliver it on time with the whole quality, and that is the ownership. Okay,
I think that's because the passion is a bit
Exactly.
lacking.
Exactly.
right, interest, passion. So
They're doing it forcefully. I mean,
Yes.
because they just graduate from the college, they want a job, and they just got a job in a company.
You left a good job to start your own.
Yeah, exactly.
Share that story. Why don't you tell the people about yourself?
I don't know. So it's like being more satisfied.
Taking that leap of faith.
Right, exactly. So it was like, it was a big leap of faith, right? So I was getting married, and I just resigned a month before I was getting married, and I got married, unemployed. Then I started my own.
Then you had to start after getting married. and yeah, that's what
It just happened, yeah, okay, let's do it.
And what is one advice that you'll give to any engineering student who will be watching that podcast, who probably has a little bit of interest in this place? What can he do? The resources he can refer? How can he explore?
See, one good thing they can do these days, there are a lot of resources available online. Okay, so if you have interest, just go for it. Okay, don't think. For example, if you have interest in you like to make web pages, okay, or you want to make things, like to make things on web, okay, so there are many languages available, okay, like PHP, .NET, or these days many new languages are coming, things are moving on JavaScripts a lot, okay. Suppose you want to make things which are good on mobile, then you go for the mobile applications, okay, Android, iOS, hybrid apps, all these things are there. So whatever you want to do, just go for it and do a thorough research on that. You will find a lot of things these days, okay. There are,
access is
access a lot. Then find developers who has experience on it, so that they can guide you, okay. If you want to go in Android application, okay, there are a lot of Android developers you can find easily, okay. You can contact them, okay, what are the things I should start with if I want to learn Android, okay. So they can guide you, and then just learn things from using that, okay. Take helps from seniors, okay, and then go for it.
So you have been a student and you have just entered this industry. What are the biggest challenges you faced in software development when you entered? Or
The biggest challenge I see for someone who is really interested into this, but the atmosphere is changing over time right now. So the time I finished my college, the same problem that I told earlier, that all the bigger brands want a degree, you need to have like 70 or 80% marks in your throughout, like 12th, 10th, graduation and postgraduate. You need to have consistency in your marks, but that pushes off some good talent.
right.
So people who are very curious, who are really passionate, may not be very good in curriculum activities.
Exactly.
And I have seen that. I've noticed that over a period of time, that people with very good skill sets are not very good at academics, but they do have very good skill set in the field that they're passionate about. So that the case was with me as well. I was not very good at academics, all of the subjects. It was like even
बोल दे number.
even the curriculum was like shit. In the Indian curriculum that they teach you at the postgraduate or even the postgraduate is a bit okay, but at the graduation level it's like just totally waste of time.
Okay.
But you have to study it, you have to score the marks, and if you just leave it out, then all the bigger brands won't accept you. So that's the one challenge that any fresher who is just graduating and wants to look out for a job, they will be disappointed that they are not able to qualify to even sit for the interviews. But the atmosphere has changed. Like the smaller mid-scale companies have come in, service companies, a lot of product companies, and this startup culture, a lot of funding coming in from the outside India. So they're also ready to pay you big bucks if you have the right skill set, even if you don't have experience, that much experience. Like people with 1 year experience are earning over 1 lakh today. And that was not possible if you would say like 5 years back. That was not possible. And that change has come in India. It was already there in the US market, and because there has more matured audience and more matured people and the students. So I guess the future is bright now. If you want to, even if you're not good at academics and you think that this is the only thing I want to do in life, this is my stream, then you can make it big.
And I think that's very valuable advice for all the students.
Yeah, just to add in, the best talent we ever hired, and I've been into a process of hiring a lot of people, were not toppers. They were like 50%.
Are you talking about Surur?
I was one of his hiring.
Right. So they were like 50s, 60s, max 70s. That's a percentage scale where we got the best talent, right? And I think that's a worry, as well as that's a good thing.
And it's very sad because people go abroad. That's like software is a sector जहाँ पे सबसे ज़्यादा brain drain होता है हमारे देश का. And there are a lot of startups. Like I look for good developers. If we are developing an app and there is shortage of talent.
There's a lot of shortage. I mean, we are not able to hire. I mean, it's so. I mean,
if you guys want to intern with one of the best startups here, Kodil and Kushal sir, please comment. We'll directly connect you to.
Yeah, definitely. So. I mean, we interview 100 people and we are not able to find just one person who's good. And that's just because they don't have any practical knowledge. They just studied, they just mugged up stuff, they just passed the exams, even engineering, everything. I mean, and even have a degree, but they don't have the skill. And that's the biggest problem.
Even at the IIT level, I had the privilege to interview some of the candidates from IIT.
Privilege.
You would say privilege because it is a privileged institution.
IIT, yeah.
So. And I was shocked to see the level of information, even at the IITs. And if we are going at that stage in our academics in our country, then the future seems very bleak in terms of education. But there are students who go out of the way and do their own research, do their own education, and build stuff throughout their academics, leaving the academics and just doing stuff their own and learning things on their own. So
and that's what we are trying to promote over here. That's the idea behind.
Do it yourself.
Yeah, do it yourself. That's the idea behind this podcast also, that success is like the biggest takeaway from this podcast was development, and software development is an art, not in degree. And I think that's so you'd like to add something on that?
No, I mean, just one thing is coming into my mind: the education system. So because now we are comparing especially with the US and all. So what I have seen, their education system is way advanced than what we have here, despite of having so many universities, institutions here. But the quality there's a big difference, like kind of the investment they are having. Because for India, that's worry at like it's more or less it's like a business. For them, it's business definitely, but before the priority is different. I have been to MIT campus and kind of the lecture theaters they are having at the huge. It's just like the cinema hall, like huge screens with a big. I mean, they have invested a lot in, and our lecture theaters are just like plain and nothing. So, and I was wondering, but the good thing is now the government and there are many people, as in NGOs, they are focusing on this industry, and I think the future is bright for India education system, maybe in next 5-10 years. So we're gonna have a class here also.
Yeah, and I think one of the best advices that came out from this podcast, one of the key takeaways, and that's a very good note to wrap this podcast up, and it is that software development has a good scope. It is very bright, but you need to keep on trying on your own. You don't require a degree. It's an art. You need to develop. You need to intern. You need to network, and you need to explore before you enter into the sector.
Yeah, you should have passion for
You
it.
should have
Go to
passion.
hackathons.
Go to hackathons.
And one more thing I want to add to this thing, that what I have experienced and from my learnings, that as you said, that find someone who can help you. So mentors. So
all
I
of
have
these can
seen,
be your mentors. Come and
find one mentor, and that is very much required,
Exactly.
because that is what was missing in my career also. But later working with these very good senior people, like I learned this thing, that if as soon as you find a good mentor who can guide you, who can tell you about the industry and all this stuff, they're gonna be really helpful for you.
Exactly, and if you guys want to talk to these people or want to reach out to them, please write it in the comments. Like, subscribe, and share this video if you like. And I think it's time for us to say bye. Let's look into this. Let's look in that camera and say bye.
Bye.
Thanks a lot, all of you,
Thanks.
for joining us.
All right.
And
Thank you.
I hope
Thank
it
you.
is beneficial to the students.